Okay, so this video is for me, so if I'm ever setting up the TNG, then I'll remember exactly what I did. So you go to File, Settings. One of the first things you're going to want to do is go to General and change this to Imperial to inches. Then right here in Shortcuts, I would go down here to Settings and then just add Control K. This is not by default, but Photoshop and other programs use that. Well, I forgot if it was Photoshop or CorelDRAW. So it's an easy shortcut to remember to get to the settings because we're going to be here a lot in the beginning. Next thing was to set up the steps per unit of your motor. That will depend on what motor you have. This number cannot be random. This is what determines the accuracy of the machine, meaning like if you say 10 inches, go to 10 inches, that it will move in fact 10 inches. So that one you have to follow a tutorial. The guys from Planet CNC have it, but basically you can grab a screenshot from here. The idea is that it starts right here. They have two formulas, but follow this one right here. So take a screenshot of that, and then take a screenshot of that. You can see they're setting it at 0. Then the MDI window, I didn't know this, but you can make your machine move. So what they're saying is go to X10, right? So that MDI window is right here. You type in, I don't know why it says H, but if you type, let's see, right now it's at X38 point something. I'm gonna put just X39. You press enter, see, and it moves. So I didn't know that. Over here, if you do that, it'll just change the value here on the screen and on the machine, but this is manual data input. Pretty cool. I don't know if you heard, but the machine did move. So let's say that you set this at 0, then you set this at 10. They have it in millimeters, so they're expecting it to move 10 millimeters. But it will travel less or more, whatever that number is. Measure that, and then you plug it into this formula, whatever the difference was, and then it'll spit out a number. Whatever that number is, you put here in steps per unit, and then you are basically done for that. You want to do this a couple times and then test, but don't use a short distance like this. Use the full width of your machine, or almost the full width. The longer the measurement, the better it's gonna be. Next thing, so for me, because I was tinkering with the settings before, I had a lot of trouble trying to figure out what I was doing wrong. So make sure that your speeds are not messed up. There's several places where you have speed. You have speed here, and you have speed here in motion blend, in motion, and you have speed in jogging. So what I would do is that this jogging speed is probably the one that limits your movement. If this one is set, and then watch, there's another one here on keyboard, and then another one here on hand wheel. So let me show you the difference between those two. Okay, so the hand wheel, it's sometimes also referred as an MPG, manual pulse generator, and this is what it looks like. The one from Planet CNC looks sort of like this one. So if you don't have that one, then don't even mess around with these settings here. For the keyboard, this is, I believe it's the actual keyboard in your computer, but it may not be. Let me double check that. Part of the reason is that that the names are confusing. So if you go to their website, there is another keyboard is. I think that's what they're calling the keyboard. So watch. Right now I'm gonna move my machine with the computer keyboard, and you can see I'm being capped at 40, right? So that means that this jogging keyboard is the one in the computer, is not the one. They should have called it something else, man. For God's sakes. So that jogging keyboard, might as well, I'm gonna zero it out so I know I don't get confused, but it's this, and I don't have that. So I'm gonna put that at 0 so that I don't think it's should all be just grayed out, basically. But the one that I do have here is the one in the computer, and that one would be, where is it? Oh, I moved it. Jogging right here. You see that 40? That's what it was. So I think my machine can move up to like 900. So let's try. Let me try 100, and you'll see right now. Well, you can't see it, but you'll hear it. See how it was at 100?
Okay. Entonces lo tengo que quedar.
So you can see the jogging speed is not as fast as I would like it to be. I guess I could go a little faster. So let's change that to 200. Default speed. Okay, so I just changed this back to 300, but it's not going any faster than going at 200. In fact, look, it says 300 here at the jogging speed, but when I go here to observe over here the speedometer, it still caps at 200. So that means that something is interfering with that. Even though this is at 300, there must be another speed. So let's check again from top down. Speed right here, max speed is 200. So let's see if what 300 looks like. So there you can see that you have to check all 3 speeds. Whenever you change one speed, change all 3. So the first one's motor speed, then the motion, and then jogging, and then you can fine tune, but you want to make sure that your limits are. So let's see if this is not too fast. So we have that speed, 300. That's the key. Whenever you change the speed, change it in those 3 places. Motion, say motion's at 200, let's make it 300. And then the last one is jogging, 300. Okay, so let's see how fast this is. Hopefully it's not too fast. That's cool. And my deceleration is good, so I like that. So there you go. That's one of the key things. If you're going to change one speed, change it in 3 places. Alright, so I don't know if you can hear, but right now I'm at 0, 0. I'm gonna move. That's moving really fast. 300. Okay, and then if I press this button, it's gonna go to 0, 0, but notice that the speed is locked at 94.49. Don't really know where to change that yet, but I'm happy with all the other speeds that I know. So let's see. Alright, so let's talk about steps. So you can see here the jogging default step is 0.05 and the default round. So let's talk about this step right here. Is this guy's right here. You can see where I am at 0, 0. So if I press the inner arrow, that's a step. So that's 5, and it's in both directions, 5. So far I think that's a good amount. But this one, I think this one's the blend, meaning like if I press 1, like it's almost like a slide instead of a step, and I'm not sure exactly how to. Sorry, it's not a blend, it's called a round. But you can see that I wasn't able to like click short enough for it to go this distance. But this is something else I don't entirely understand. The step is for sure, that's the one where you click the inside and it moves in those increments. But one place where it does come handy is I do have a hand wheel, and I'm noticing right here, according to the to this thing right here, there is oh, that's something else. But basically, the manual says that this thing functions like this. By default, it's not checked. So if it's not checked, it's going to use speed and round. But if you check it, the checkbox is for the step, meaning now it's going to do a step instead of a slide. So basically, what this is graphically saying is, do you want to treat mode 1 of your controller either like a step or like a slide, like this? I'm calling it slide for lack of a better name, but I think, what are they calling it? Speed and round. Speed and round. So check it out. For step, I'm gonna set mine at the speed of 200 with a step. So let's see. Okay, so right now I have it. The first mode is in step as a 200 with 0.5 of an inch. So watch, when I'm gonna go back to 0, and you'll see I'm gonna use the wireless controller. So look, when I move once, it just goes bzz. So it is going in the increment that I want it, which is cool. But look, if I go continuous, it's going bzz, 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 which is not good because it's not moving kind of the way I want it. So watch, if I now take this off, let's see what happens. I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna move it. I think that's probably the best way, because it slides smoothly. So every click of the thing, of the device, is exactly 0.005, which is good. But if I slide, can you hear it? It moves more freely. But if I want to micro adjust, I can just do that. Pretty cool. So I do think though that I will probably need to go smaller than this. So what I would do is maybe change that back to 5, so 0.5. Let's see. So that'll give me more precision. Let's go back to 0. Okay, here we go. Wow, this is pretty cool. So I like those. Very nice. So that's 665. It should go to 670. Oh, so it's skipping. I guess it must have a tolerance. It's not going. It probably has like a minimum. Okay, so I finally figured out what this round number is. So this number is the distance that it will take to slide. So it is sort of like the step, but it decelerates. So for example, if I set this to 1, you'll see that it'll travel 1 inch at this speed, but it'll decelerate. You can hear it. So okay, watch. If I press 1 inch, maybe you can hear the sound. You'll see I'm gonna move it back to 0. Watch, this is just one click of the wireless controller. Look how long it takes after you click. I let go a long time ago, so basically it's taking all that time to travel, and then it slows down. So you don't want that number to be high when you're doing this. I think you want it at like point I think that number seemed to work for me. So I'm gonna set mine up with just 2 modes. Mode 1 is gonna be this for big speeds. It's gonna, oh, like this, free. And then this is going to feel very fluid. Then mode number 2, I'm gonna do 200, but I'm going to do the step. Let's see if I could do half of that, like 0.025. I guess it doesn't. Let's try it. Alright, so I'm gonna go mode 1, as expected, is it's perfect. It's moving as desired, very fluid. And now mode 2, I'm gonna switch on the controller. And let's see, 1 step. There it goes, 1 click. 4, 5. So I guess this is not, maybe the way this should be configured would be have several steps. So I'll have one that steps a bigger distance. So we could do 0.05, or actually can make this can step in increments of 1, and then this one can step increments of half of that, which would be and then the last one, which would be 0.01. So let's try that. Alright, so mode 1 moves fluid as usual. Mode 2, let's see, that's perfect. It moves in increments of 1 inch. So if I want 3 is more precise, it's gonna move in 5s here, and then 4 would be So these are just steps. There you go. And that's the regular. Perfect. Okay. So I'm happy with those. So now you just have to put them on the other ones, all the axes. Oh, actually, I forgot. We don't have to, because you can swap the axis on each one. So since I have 5 speeds, maybe I can I'm gonna add one more here. So this would be 200, and then this would be 0.00, 0.005. There. Okay, so you can't see my machine, the router, but I brought it to this point all the way to the very edge, and I set my X and my Y to Z, and then I am that's the limit, and I went here and I checked this. It's important because now if I move, I have the controller in my hand. If I try to move it, let's say to the X further here to the left, it won't. See? And that's smart, because then it won't damage the machine. Okay, so this thing right here doesn't come out of default. You have to check in general. Okay, it's right here. User interface, jog, and then you have to choose fix. The default, I believe, is one of these two, but if you click here, this will show up. So that's it. I'm gonna save here a video with all this at this location here.